The Gina and Matty podcast.
All right, Jay, what's making news?
Well, Johnny Depp has spent a lot of time lately in the news for all the wrong reasons, but he has delighted patients and staff during a visit recently to Donosha University Hospital in San Sebastian by dressing as his iconic character, Captain Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. He's 61. I can't believe he's 61.
Yeah, and if you're going to go visit a hospital anywhere in the world, San Sebastian's not a bad place to go and visit.
Is it?
Oh, on the coast of Spain. Beautiful part of the world. They're the tapas India, but yeah.
Well, he was there promoting his new film Modi, 3 days on the wing of madness, so he kind of did two things at once. But
right.
I love that he takes the time to visit a hospital and bring some joy to some kids and get dressed up in his character.
And steal some prescription medication.
That was unnecessary, Matthew Keith.
Allegedly. No, just jokes.
Now, Rebel Wilson marries her boo, Ramona Agruma, in top secret Italian wedding a couple days ago. That's lovely. I love love. So apparently they got married where they initially told everyone about them being a couple in 2022. And they'd had a bit of trouble because the same-sex marriage, and her partner, her wife now, despite cultural differences with the family, that was a bit of an issue for them. But she's very happily married. They've got a bubba. They've got a little girl as well. That's nice because she's been in the news for all the wrong reasons as well recently, hasn't she?
Her book. She's throwing a lot of people under the bus in her book and not doing too well. Then it got cancelled here.
We've forgiven her though, haven't we? Have we?
You're allowed to.
I have.
You're allowed to.
I'm a forgiver.
Yeah, she's a bit on the nose for me. Not my favourite person in the world.
Why? Did she say something to offend you in particular?
I just think I've seen and heard enough of Rebel Wilson for a little while. I reckon
Really?
that's just my opinion, and I'm allowed to
Do you think, look, this is a bit controversial, but do you think that she was particularly appealing when she was a larger sized girl now, and she was very pretty, but now she's potentially, I don't know how she got slim, but does she still have that? Because she was so funny. I don't know. Is that part of it? I don't know.
Not for me.
No. Oh, look, I forgive and I like her and I think she's gorgeous and good luck to them, just newly married with a new baby. But this is interesting. Frances Bean Cobain and Riley Hawke have had a baby.
Oh, the most genetically cool baby in the history of the world. So who are they?
Okay, so Frances Bean Cobain and Riley Hawke have welcomed their baby, Ronan Walker Cobain Hawke, born about a week ago. Frances announced the news on Instagram. So Frances is the daughter of rock legends Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love.
And
So she must have been born cool.
Courtney Love, of course.
Oh, look at my face. My name is Matty.
And Riley Hawke?
Riley is the son of skateboarding icon Tony Hawk.
Incredible.
So they are a particularly cool couple, and now they've had this little Nepo baby. So that Nepo baby's going to be at school saying to all the other kids, who are your parents? mine are pretty cool. I was just born this way. But that's a lovely, lovely story. There's speculation there's been so many Nepo babies born this year that in future projects might include all of them. Maybe they'll form a band. Maybe they'll do a...
No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure, you
No
newborn
pressure.
babies.
I love Tony Hawk, the first skateboarder ever to perform a 900, a legend, and also his computer games, iconic. But he always tweets when someone misrecognises him.
Oh.
So, like, there's a whole series of Tony Hawk tweets where he's at the airport and Hawk, like that skateboarder, Tony Hawk. Tony goes, yeah, exactly. She goes, cool, I wonder what he's up to these days. And he goes, this. And another one was where he was getting off an aeroplane and a lady's like, oh my gosh, whose skateboards are all in the overhead locker? Is bloody Tony Hawk on this flight? And he looks up and goes, yeah, I am. I love it so much. You can check them all out online. It's Gina and Matty here, the on Star 104.5.
Gina and Matty.
Over the long weekend, which is coming up, guys. Long weekend. Oh, so good. Taking the fam on a road trip. We just have Shannon Knoll in the corner. Just any time we mention going on a drive or going on a car, he just has to just only play the hook. So if I say, oh gosh, we're going to talk about Spotto. Shannon! Thank you very much. So road trip. We're going up to Coffs Harbour. Leave on Friday after the show. Going up there for the long weekend. Bella's birthday. Yesterday on the show, we put out the call to you, and boy, oh boy, did we get some calls and did we start some conversation on the Gina and Matty socials about the old school car game that is Spotto and what your family rules are when you play.
So I'm outnumbered by 3 children, 3 boys, plus my husband, and a male dog. So it gets to a point, I argue with him that I spotted it first. So he just puts his hand up, and we know we are not to speak any more about Spotto. We just have to sit and be silent.
What?
We just know. We know the hand gesture, and we know, okay, game is over.
Well, my one, it had to evolve because in the beginning it used to be punch buggies, which used to be the Volkswagens and Combi double bangers. But it gets too painful, so we changed it to kiss buggies and kiss double bangers.
I love that.
Now, as they get older, they get a bit, I'm not kissing you. So it's hug buggies and double huggies.
We have a lot. So if it's a yellow car, Spotto, 1 point, it can be parked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yellow number plate, you add another point.
Oh, yeah.
If it's got a yellow learner plate, you add another point.
Oh,
Okay.
I like it.
If it's got yellow hubcaps, add another point.
Tracy, I know you're on a roll. I know you're on a roll with them, but do the number plates and the L plates have to be on a yellow car, or they can be on any car?
No, they have to be on the yellow
They
car.
have to be on the yellow car
what
to
if-
get double points. Okay.
Yeah, so instead of yellow cars, because yellow cars became so popular, we used to do purple and pink cars.
Yes. and
Much harder to find.
Much harder to find. And according to the rules of the International Spotto Federation, purple and pink cars are worth more as well.
Oh.
So there we go.
We did the basic start off with the normal Spotto, and then we introduced Froggo, we called it, not Snotto.
Oh, that's nice.
And Tango and Peppa Pig and the Purple People Eater. Then we had the kids went to school and came back with more rules, and they actually had a really kind of intricate game of where they had buses that were 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the exact rules, but then if you went past the police car, you got put in jail, and that person who saw the police car put the other person in jail, and they weren't allowed to say any of them for a certain amount of time until they saw an ambulance, which could get you out of jail.
Oh, my gosh, this
and
is
then
amazing.
a fire truck was something else as well. So they had so many. They were pretty cool rules. Yeah, it kept them entertained for a long time, and they had to add up multiple points. There was a bit of maths in there. They had to do, when they're plugging the fives and things. So it was really good.
Thanks, Shannon. We're back live now. Incredible. The phones melted down, and so did our socials, G. On the Gina and Matty Facebook page, the conversation continued, and there's some new rules that have been thrown up. Cass Parrott, she's got a doggo rule. If a car has a dog sticking its head out the window, 5 points.
I
Boom.
like that one.
Cars must be driving, says Tammy. No park cars allowed. And they also do, this is Tammy, karate chop combis. You see a combi go past? Hiya! Give it a little bit of the Miss Piggy. Kate, I like this from Kate. She said, depends on what mood the kids are in. And my 9-year-old just likes to randomly change the rules if she's losing. Emily, the car has to be moving. This seems to be a common theme. It has to be moving. No Spotto on Sundays. Is a rule. It's the Sabbath. Have a rest. Purple is a jackpot. I like that. Trish Fitler said that there must be road registered yellow car. Shopping centre car parks don't count. But most of the time it gets stopped. The game has to get stopped because the kids argue about who got Spotto. That does up my joint as well. And Alyssa's got a pretty good one here as well. So it's 1 point for a yellow car, Spotto, 1 point for a green car, Snotto, 2 points for a pink car, Barbie, and 5 points for a purple car, Grapo.
I like it. You're going to have to write a whole rule guide.
I think for our road trip we're going to as well, because we're doing it up the coast. This is Rebecca Twaddle. Hi, Beck. She said, hi, Gina and Matty. Yellow cars, yes. When heading north on road trips, you get a point for cows and sugarcane. And when heading west, a point for emus and goats as well.
I like it. I think when you go a bit north, I think the big banana, whoever spots that first, gets 10 points.
Oh, gosh.
Because it's yellow.
And I'm in the driver's seat and I'm going to get it first and make all the kids cry. Yes!
Gina and Matty.
Sad news yesterday. Kris Kristofferson passed away. He was well known as a songwriter, actor, singer, and big part of the country music industry. So I grew up listening to lots of his music, and big star in my world. prior to him being a songwriter, actor and singer, he was actually a helicopter pilot in the Army. I only just learnt this. And apparently when he first arrived in Nashville, like a lot of songwriters do, they have a big swag of songs that they want to get cut. He gave a mixtape, like not a mixtape, but a tape of all of the songs that he'd written to June Carter Cash, who was married to Johnny Cash. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see the movie Walk the Line?
No.
Yeah, great movie. So he gave her that tape, and apparently she just put it on her desk and didn't give Johnny any of the songs. So this is a true story. He got a helicopter, landed in their yard.
Chris did.
Kris Kristofferson flew a helicopter into Johnny Cash's yard and was quite well known in Nashville where Johnny Cash lives on the river there. We've driven past it and it's a bit of a tourist attraction, but this was back in the day. So he arrives there and Johnny comes out and goes, what the hell? And he played him a bunch of songs. He said, you have to hear my songs. Now, apparently that tape that he first arrived in Nashville with all these songs on, which many, many people still to this day arrive in town in Nashville wanting to get some of their songs cut, had every single song on it, became a big hit, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So he went on to become great mates with Johnny, and this song for Johnny Cash became one of his biggest hits. He sold.
And there's nothing short of dying.
This is called Sunday Morning Coming Down.
That's half as lonesome as the sound of the sleeping city sidewalk. And Sunday morning coming down.
So Johnny went on to sell over 90 million records, and Kris Kristofferson was a big part of that. He also went on to get music on people like Roger Miller. I mean, I'm going way back, and only people who are older will remember a lot of these artists, but Roger Miller, Ray Price, and of course Janis Joplin did Me and Bobby McGee. You'll remember this one.
Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing. I mean, nothing, honey, if it ain't free.
Oh, what a voice.
Yeah.
And feeling good was easy, love, when he sang the blues. You know, feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby, yeah.
So that was obviously one of the biggest hits. He also wrote Help Me Make It Through the Night, which I don't think you remember, songs like For the Good Times. Very, very big songwriter. He also became famous, and you said you only really knew him from A Star Is Born.
The original one with Barbra Streisand.
That was the original one, and we all know the one with Lady Gaga, obviously. And apparently Barbra Streisand wanted Elvis Presley to play that part. But I tell you what, Kris Kristofferson was very handsome, very charming, very good looking, and was the right the right person for the part, I think. He then toured extensively. You played earlier as part of the Highwaymen, came out with Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, and came to Australia quite a few times. But this leads me to when I met him in 1994. We were touring with Johnny Cash, and he was a part of that tour as well. We got to spend quite a bit of time. We toured across all of Australia and got to travel up the Swan River in Perth and have dinner. And
so you were on the bill, so you and Kris Kristofferson,
yes,
so you had a couple
of Johnny Cash
opening acts
for Johnny Cash. He was one who obviously came on after me, and we got to know each other. It was funny because every time Kris Kristofferson, we'd either go on a boat out, in the day or to the show. He was like Fonzie, just had the one outfit.
Amazing.
Like his black jeans and a black T-shirt and glasses and didn't wear anything else other than that. But I was on stage at the Sydney Entertainment Centre. Do you remember when that was before Kudos?
Absolutely, yeah. 1995 Rocker Stedford, but it's not about me. This is about Kris Kristofferson.
Well, this was back in 1994, and I was out on stage, and we'd been on the road a little bit already all across Australia with Johnny Cash, playing to, prior to this, Maddie, I was singing to 3 or 4 people a night in a wine bar in Sydney. Yeah. I already had a record deal, but nothing had happened, and I went from that to singing to 10,000 people, 15,000 people a night with Johnny Cash.
Wow. And
it was quite the shock and an incredible moment for me. And I was on stage at the Sydney Entertainment Centre, and the crowd went nuts in one of my songs. And I'm young. I was 23, and I'm like, oh my God.
They're loving this.
They love me. They don't even know me yet, but they love me. And I turned around, and Kris Kristofferson walked on stage, and they were screaming as he walked on stage with me, and he came on with a harmonica and started playing in one of my original songs. And I walked off stage and went, oh my God, you have no idea what that means to me. Thank you. And he goes, yeah, I really like that song, and just decided to randomly come up. But the bit that happened that I've never forgotten, and nor has my husband, when I said thank you for playing, that was incredible. He tried to bash me, and I was like 20. I think I was 23. I was younger than producer CJ. And I'm like, oh, my God. And Rod's fine, completely fine with it. One of the biggest
Yeah, of
songwriters
course.
in the world tried to pash his... I was his future girlfriend.
So hang on. So he tried to pass you?
Yeah, came in hard.
Did you turn away, or what? How did it not come about?
I'm a fool, Kimmy.
I would have passed Kris Kristofferson if I was on stage.
I turned away. I was too shy. I should have gone. I wasn't with Rod yet, so Rod was in my band. But yeah, I should have jumped in. But I was a bit, and little country girl didn't know quite what to do. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't know now.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Gina and Matty Podcast.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.